welcome to Gettysburg College. We're excited to meet you soon. We hope you're all safe and sound and well. Wash your hands a lot, practicing physical distancing as you should. So again, everybody should be muted. That is part of the plan because otherwise the feedback becomes really strong. If you have questions, and we expect there will be questions because this is a pretty big and important topic, pop it in the chat and we will get to the questions at the end. And hopefully we will anticipate a lot of the questions that you have. We've been doing this for a while, so we kind of know where this is going most of the time. All right, Katie, I'm gonna put one more question or one more comment in the chat, and then I'm going to share the screen again.
Okay.
And then we'll get on the road. Go.
Yeah. Yes, and so Dr. Brandauer mentioned that we've been doing this for quite a while. I've been with the committee for over 10 years, so we've worked with quite a lot of students as they've gone into a variety of health professions. So we're glad to see you here today and enjoy the chance to talk to you a little bit more about how we do this at Gettysburg.
And as far as I'm concerned, I've been at Gettysburg College for 11 years and pretty much straight away started advising people on their health professions, career choices. This is what we do, especially in the health sciences department. Most of our students that graduate with a degree in health sciences move on to a career somewhere in healthcare or another. And so you are really, if you're interested in a career in healthcare, you're in the right spot in this session. Okay,
Great.
So moving this forward, this is really an all hands on deck situation. And the Health Professions Committee, it consists of folks from all over campus. So we try to get as many of you as early as we can get. We'll talk about more what that looks like, but the core team of the Health Professions Advising Committee consists of Dr. Kittleberg in biology, Dr. Jamison teaches in chemistry, Dr. Powell is also in bio. We have a philosopher on the team, Dr. Portmas from the philosophy department, and I'm the guy in the center there. I'm Dr. Brandauer in the health sciences department. And if you're wondering what a health sciences department is or does, we're essentially a human biology department. So if you come to Gettysburg College, you really have access to a lot of different biology courses, human anatomy and physiology. I teach a cardiorespiratory physiology course. We teach epidemiology class, many others on top of cell bio, genetics, microbiology, and all of the other specific bio classes that you would expect in a regular bio department.
Yeah, just to underline that, we work very closely as a committee. You have access to all of us to ask questions and to work with you out throughout the process of major choice and choosing classes, as well as the whole way through the process, which we'll talk more about as we go through the slides.
Okay, so health professions advising at Gettysburg College. Katie, why don't you tell folks a little bit what that looks like from your perspective?
So we're here from the minute you step on campus, and then we continue for whenever you need us. Career engagement, for example, we're a lifetime service. So even if I've had people who have decided late in their life that they wanted to go to medical school, and we've worked with them as well. But we do bring you in during orientation and make sure that you're on the right page and that you're taking the courses that you need so that you can be successful and be where you want to be when it's time to apply for that health professions school.
So I really want to emphasize that this begins prior to the first day of class, and evidence of that is the session that we're holding right now, right? We're all here, classes have not started for the fall yet. This is the beginning of your relationship with the health professions advising team. There is a chance for you to engage in summer advising when you're still home and you're thinking about the classes that you are signing up for in the fall. Then we'll meet with you again if you want to before classes start. And then there's an ongoing working relationships where we think about what your needs are and we try to make that happen as best as we can. So before, during, after application, not just that we are here for you during your time before, during, and after college, but as you're applying for health professions program, being nursing school, physical therapy, medical, occupational therapy, medicine, there is a number of questions that arise before you apply, while you apply, after you apply. We have a lot of experience with that, and it's current, and we are there to essentially save you time, help you make better and more informed decisions. Katie,
Yeah.
what about the next topic?
Yeah, just to add a little bit more to the comprehensive, I think, one of the things that certainly things are changing pretty rapidly right now. And so that we're having regular conversations with students and working on them to help plan and keeping current on any information that we're getting as well. So just to kind of let you know that we are really there every step of the way. So we hear a lot about pre-med, and we find that a lot of students from Gettysburg that definitely go into medical school, but there are a lot of other professions that people consider as well. We have a lot of alumni who are volunteering with us in a variety of professions. So we really are here to help you with whatever pre-health program you're interested in.
So when it comes to what choices that you make, we don't really like the medical school versus other ideas or other careers model that you may have sometimes seen before. There is many careers that you can find that are what generally is referred to as an allied health professions. You can decide to go to athletic training, become a dentist, a nurse, occupational therapy, many more. The point in all of this is that we support you in all your career goals. The one thing that we want for ourselves, but most importantly for you, is that we provide you with the right information so that you can make an informed choice about what the best career outcome and goal is for you. Katie, maybe you can talk a little bit about how that idea about what's my career going to be changes when somebody goes through the 4 years of college.
Yes. Yeah. So on that topic, also, one of the things that we do is that we meet with you before you start classes, but then we meet with you every year to check in and see how things are going. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the ways that you can explore these things, but sometimes people know pretty early on what they want to do and it stays the same. And sometimes they have an experience with a career that they hadn't had before, and that opens up a new door and creates new opportunities. And so we really want to make sure that we're there to talk through the process and make sure that you're asking yourself the questions to make sure that you're choosing that career that really fits where you want to be.
So if you come to us and you tell us with conviction, I want to go to medical school, expect us to ask why. And that's actually the first question that we ask of you when you come in for your on-campus interview as you apply to medical school. Why do you want to be a physician? If you tell us you don't want to be a physician, we'll also ask you why. And that's part of what we do. We really need you to think about the career choices that exist. Some of you have never thought about becoming a pharmacist or a nurse. We need you to inform yourself on what this profession entails, what the job description is. We help you figure that out. And then we hope that you make the best and most informed decision that you can. So here's some of, go ahead.
Just on the topic of why, I think sometimes people have known for a very long time that they want to go into a profession. And so sometimes it can be really hard to answer that question. I have a friend who I always joke, I think her first words were, I want to be a nurse. But I think that the idea of really, when we ask you those questions, if you're still landing on that same profession, you're really more comfortable answering that question, because it can be challenging if you kind of know, but articulating that to other people can be a challenge. And I think focusing on that process throughout your 4 years really put you ahead in terms of being able to help persuade other people that you're really great for that profession.
So here are some of the frequently asked questions that oftentimes come up, and we'll tackle any one of these individually. First of all, does Gettysburg have a pre-med major? What is the best major if I want to be a nurse, physician assistant, physical therapist, public health professional? What courses do I need to get me there? Can I study abroad? Should I study abroad? Are there opportunities for medically related experiences? What are my chances? And other things I don't know. And there are conversations that happen over and over again where you realize, I didn't even realize I had to practice my public speaking skills on the path to becoming a pathologist. And it ends up being these conversations with the health professions advisors, with Katie, with career engagement folks, with your academic advisors, with other students in your classes that really enlighten you on that path. So we're here to facilitate that and make sure that that happens. So Katie, does Gettysburg have a pre-med major?
We do not have a pre-med major. We ask that we have you identify early on, and then we have a list where we communicate with everybody who's indicated that they're interested in health professions, but we find that we don't have a specific pre-med major, and students from the liberal arts really do very well in communication, for instance, is a very big piece of all of the health professions. And so being able to use that from your other courses is very important.
So I think I hear Katie's dog barking in the background. Excellent. We love dogs, so that's great. So no, we don't offer a pre-med major because we don't think it's in your best interest. What we do offer is the complete range of courses that is required for admission within a excellent liberal arts curriculum, and we firmly believe that that's the best way for you to proceed if you want to be a clinician. So you are going to be signing up for a health professions concentration. There's no pre-med major. You may be a French major, you may be a health sciences major, a bio major. But then we give you the extra attention in advising and in career counseling that you will need, because your needs are different and special as you are looking for a certain career. It turns out that Katie knows a ton about this. Medical schools and other programs encourage diversity of majors and experiences. Katie, maybe you can talk a little bit about what majors our students come from as they go into health professions careers.
Yeah, so we certainly do see a large number of science majors going into the health professions, simply because there are a lot of the prerequisites are covered in those majors, as well as preparation for any sort of standardized test. But we have had people from all sorts of majors. We certainly have English majors, we've had religion majors, and it can really be a unique opportunity for you to stand out among some of the other students. And so we work with you very carefully to make sure that we're advising you so you take the prerequisites, but you're able to take a major in which you're really passionate about and succeed in academically.
So to sum that piece up, you can be a science, and it's common that folks who attend medical schools and other health professions programs are science majors, but you don't have to be. One thing that we consistently see in the application process to these professional programs is that the admissions officers are looking for evidence of excellence. And so one piece of advice that we have is, yes, make sure you take the classes that are required to attend nursing school, physician assistant programs, and medical school. But choose a major that you're passionate about, in which you can show the excellence in your accomplishments, because that is something that is seen as a transferable skill. If you excel in one topic in one area and one stretch of your life, that is seen as a predictor of future success. And that really is a positive outcome as you apply for these programs. Katie, anything to add here?
I don't think so. I think that's
okay. So what courses do I need to take? Well, that ends up being, like Katie says, it's fairly complicated. At Gettysburg, we have the Gettysburg curriculum. It is a liberal arts curriculum. And what that means is that it is broad in experiences. You're going to take classes in the social sciences, in the humanities. Even if you're a science major, you're going to take a foreign language. You will take some conceptual classes on diversity and interdisciplinarity. And so that will fill up part of your curriculum over the course of 8 semesters, where you take 4 classes each. There then are requirements for the particular major that you pick, and even a minor if you choose to select a second area of interest. And then there are application or matriculation requirements. So for instance, you may be a biology major going into pharmacy school, and it turns out that you need to take biochemistry in order to be accepted to pharmacy school. So on top of what you have to take to graduate from the college, on top of what you have to take to be a bio major, now there are some other classes that are required for the next step. And again, this is something that you do, you find out as you realize this is the career I want to pursue, these are the programs I want to apply to, but also with the advice from Katie, from myself, and from the other health professions advisors. So one of the areas that is the most restrictive and rigorous and complicated is medical school and the requirements for medical school. So we're just choosing this as an example of what this can look like. And so here is what examples for matriculation requirements are like. Kitty, we want to talk a little bit about the MCATs?
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things where, with regard to courses, you want to make sure that you're taking the courses that you need to be successful on the MCAT. Just like with the MCAT, you would also take the OAT for like optometry or the DAT for dental school. So we would talk to you to make sure that you have the course prerequisites for that. So some of them are hit in the normal prerequisites for medical school. So a year of biology, 1 year of chemistry, a year of organic chemistry, a year of physics. You can read this along with me. And then for those are general requirements for medical school prerequisites, but then also for the MCAT, you would want to take a semester of genetics and a semester of biology, or at Gettysburg, 2 semesters of biochem can substitute for the cell biology. And then a semester of psych. These are the things that we have mapped out to map the MCAT when it came out 2015.
So at this point, I want to remind you that we're recording this, and that if you have questions, the best way to ask those questions is through the chat. So find the chat at the bottom of your screen, type in your questions, and only Katie and I can see this. One of the questions that has been asked so far is it possible to have health sciences concentration along with both public policy and the language? So a demanding curriculum, to be sure. We actually just referred a health sciences public policy double major to a colleague of mine in Washington, D.C. for a job interview. So that's pretty common. So theoretically, it's possible to have a double major and even a minor. The advice that most professors and professionals, such as Katie on campus, are going to give you is, again, going back to excellence. What is a area of expertise that you engage in, that you're passionate about, that ends up with you having been able to show your own excellence in the process? There is definitely, in my field, some students who oversubscribe, and my general advice is do what you do and do it with excellence rather than signing up for too much at the same time. Katie, what's your take on this?
I agree. I think sometimes there's the feeling that you have to have 2 majors and multiple minors. And I think the ideal thing is to be able to take courses that you're interested in. And that's one of the nice things about the diverse curriculum, is that you can take some of those courses, you can use them to supplement your experience and to really help on your view, but then you don't necessarily have to have 2 minors. You can have, you can minor in something, or you can just take a number of courses in it. We sometimes advise in career engagement that you might want to think of it as a concentration, and you could put that on your resume rather than worrying about what winds up on your transcript in that regard.
Yeah. So as far as double majors and minors is concerned, you may find yourself being really passionate about taking religion classes or studio art classes. And as you take more classes and you thrive in those classes, you might realize, look, I'm only at 1 class away from a minor. In my opinion, as an academic advisor, that's why and how you minor in a topic. I would not, quote unquote, chase a minor so it makes you look good academically, because we have seen absolutely no evidence that that helps in any way, shape, or form. On the other hand, if you engage into too many different things and your grades suffer, you might be seen as indecisive. And I don't think that helps. So again, focus on excellence, choose the areas you're passionate about, and that, I think, from what we're seeing with graduating students, is the best way to succeed.
I think
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just to add to that, I think we're really here to help you design the path that fits for you. So I think that's one thing that's really special here. I always think I do presentations with Dr. Brandauer pretty regularly, and he says when students come into his office, he starts to write those letters of recommendation. So the more times you're meeting with him, the more chance he gets to know you and really write you a strong letter of recommendation when you're ready to go on. And so I think that's really indicative of the way that we try to work with you while you're here. So it may be that may be be the best course for one student, and then a different course might be look very different when you're looking at it, when you're talking to a different student.
So what I say when I meet a new student is that as you walk into my office and you sit down in my office for the first time, and so that's what you are to me is essentially an empty letter of recommendation. You're a blank sheet, and it is your job and my job to fill that recommendation with positive things to say about you by the time you move on to the next stage. And so that responsibility lies on you in how you apply yourself and the classes that you select and the grades, the work you put in, and the extracurricular engagements that you select. We'll talk about those later. But that responsibility also is on me in order to find out and find and identify your skills and refer you to the right places and the right people, and then notice what you're doing and highlighting that. And so that part of our job is probably the best part of the job, is when we help students realize their potential and help them find out there is a outdoor leadership team on campus, and I'm passionate about the outdoors. I am really passionate about public service. I want to work in global health, and here is how I can realize that topic. And that is, for us, a really rewarding part of the job. And for you, it's productive because we can be the shortcut that guides you the way a little bit in a way that you may not know that you did not know. And so that's always been a productive way for us to do business. One quick clarification questions. How many classes can you take per semester? At Gettysburg College, you generally take 4 classes per semester. It doesn't matter if those classes have a lab or studio component or don't. But generally speaking, almost all students are in 4 classes per semester. Some students take 5 every once in a while, and that really covers 99% of the students. There are some questions about studying abroad, which we're going to cover in a second. And one question that I think may be good to answer here for Katie is, I'm interested in eventually going to veterinary school. Does Gettysburg offer the classes such as animal science that are required for vet school?
We do have a number of, we have another PreVet advisor as well. Dr. Etheridge works with PreVet students too. But yes, we've been very successful in terms of students getting into PreVet school and finishing their prerequisites here.
As we are on the topic of requirements, one question has been, would you suggest, I love the questions, these are really excellent and good questions. Would you suggest to take more than 1 science class per semester? I would say yes, and it's common that people do. In fact, most of you will probably take 2 science classes a semester during your time here. But there's also too much of a good thing. And we want to be mindful of, again, you showing your excellence, not oversubscribing yourself with 4 really time-intensive lab section, and also giving yourself some breathing room emotionally and mentally and cognitively by taking some other courses from the other side of campus, from the humanities and from the social sciences. So as a science major, absolutely, you're going to take probably half of your classes are STEM classes, but there is plenty of reason and time to take classes that are social sciences, that are humanities, and people really benefit from that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. One clarification question for Katie was, did you mean getting into vet school or pre-vet school?
No, getting into vet school, sorry, yes, yeah.
So we have had, to clarify, we've had good success getting helping students get admitted to veterinary school. Go ahead.
In my experience, the students that I've worked with have gotten in. I gave an example to a parent the other day. I went to a conference, and they're out of the 4 students that giving tours of Cornell veterinary medicine. 2 of them were Gettysburg students. So yeah, they do well. It's competitive for sure, but they definitely get in.
One of them is my former research student. Follow-up question. where do future pre-vet veterinary school students get their animal contact hours at Gettysburg?
We have a very active pre-vet club, and so they've been working with a variety of local, with the shelter, or there's actually, it's been kind of a come and go, but we had a exotic animal rescue, so we've had some students who've worked with that, and so they've been really good at, it's really very active club and very good about sharing experiences, but also some of the local ones. Those are some of the local ones that we work with.
Shifting gears a little bit, do you suggest taking a science-related first-year seminar, or can it be a non-science related? Both Katie and I are veterans of teaching first-year seminars. What's your take on that?
Oh yeah, I think it's definitely something that's a good, well, one thing to keep in mind, some of the first year seminars can be writing requirements. So it actually could fulfill a prerequisite, because a lot of these schools will require some sort of a writing requirement as well as the science courses. But yes, absolutely. I think that's a great opportunity to really explore some things. Sometimes you'll have an administrative partner, so it really helps to get to know the schools as well as a lot of the experiences that might help build your resume and your application later on.
I totally agree. I think you were at a liberal arts college and you ought to embrace the diversity of different types of knowledge you can acquire, and first year seminars are no different. So I would say you will get a chance to rank your first year seminars by choice, and then there's an algorithm that will assign you to a first year seminar. And I almost uniformly hear that students are happy with the first year seminars that they choose. So be open-minded, embrace it, and see what you can learn. Slightly different questions on the topic of, is this time intensive and really regimented? How do we help student athletes balance academic requirements and sports commitment? So I can speak to this because as a health sciences professor, I would say that between half and a third of my students in anatomy and physiology are athletes. Some of them are in the fall, some of them are in the spring. Swimming, volleyball, there's sort of bridging the seasons, late fall into early spring. Generally speaking, it works well. The students who are in athletics while they're taking classes, they're really asked to be super tight with their scheduling, with their time management skills. And the coaches can be really helpful in being accountability partner. Generally speaking, when you hear it on TV that these folks are student athletes, students first and athletes seconds, I think that is really true at Gettysburg. And we have, between the professors and the coaches, we do have a really good working relationship. So I think the coaches will say athletics will take a back seat to academics if there is a conflict, but we exist together. And for instance, we're asked to not schedule any classes or review sessions between 4 and 7 in the afternoons because we know that's practice hours for the sports teams. And for the most part, we do the very best to make that happen. So as far as I'm concerned, that works pretty well. Katie?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we launched this year with Career was we actually started partnering with coaches to kind of capitalize on some of the learning that students are doing while they're on the field as well. So not all your learning happens in the classroom. And so how are you communicating that? I mean, certainly for all of these professions, teamwork is really critical. And so talking to you about how you articulate that when you're applying to schools or applying for jobs or internships can be really important. And so we've been very, athletics is really great with partnering, and so we're always looking for ways that we can maximize your time while you're here.
Just thinking back on our health professions interviews, last year we had a number of athletes who applied to be admitted to, so there's an on-campus process to be admitted to medical school or dental school. And it was really interesting to see several of the students talk about how being on an athletic team has helped them become a better leader, a better teammate, a better collaborator. And they talk about this in such a deep and insightful way that I just can't help but think that this is going to help with admissions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Other question. Would we be rooming with other pre-health students during our first year?
I don't actually know that much about the assignment process. I think it's possible. I don't think it's a guarantee, but I'm not an expert on the room selection process.
Generally, the idea is to have people stay together in a tight-knit group, and so much of your rooming situation will depend on your first year seminar. And so it's likely that you're sharing the floor of your dorm with students that you know from your first year seminar, so there's some friendly faces. Now, if you're in a science first year seminar, it's likely that you're with other students. Following up on the preparation, we pick our classes during the summer and don't get to meet with you until the start of the semester. My question is, what happens if we poorly pick our classes and it just delays our path? So imagine this scenario that you in the summer pick the classes for the fall, and as you show up on campus you realize I should be in Bio 111 and I'm not. What do I do? Now I am in first year advising, I am doing first year orientation. Do I just delay my path by a year? And the answer to that is absolutely not. So my overall advice is be the polite and squeaky wheel who gets the grease. This happens every year to multiple students. What you do is you are going to meet with your first year advisor the Thursday or the Friday before classes start. And in that meeting, you're going to have a conversation with your first year advisor, who may be your first year seminar instructor, or it may be me or somebody else. And they're going to ask you, are you in the right classes? And you'll say, I don't think so, because I want to go to medical school, but I did not get into Bio 111. And then we will move heaven and earth so that you will be in Bio 111 once classes start. And so I have in 11 years at Gettysburg not heard of a student who wanted to be in first year biology and didn't get in. We will almost 99, almost 100% sure we will make that work. Katie?
Yeah, no, I definitely think I mean, I spend a lot of time talking on phone calls during that advising time with academic advisors, working with students and making sure that the courses are matching where they want to go.
Yeah. So now that somebody says, bless your soul, I was freaking out. We got you covered. We will take care of you as much as you can. Thank you for the kind words. So now that we're talking about getting you here, we're telling you to leave, because should you study abroad? Absolutely. I am a student who studied abroad in college myself. I actually I was born and raised in Austria and went to Portugal, and it was a transformative experience for me, and it is a transformative experience for many of our students. Professionally, it's also beneficial because it is encouraged by many health professions programs. Katie, how do people talk about their study abroad experience as they apply to nursing school?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it can be the focus of a personal statement, something that happened that was very different than they've experienced, or really transformative in their identification as who they're going to be as a professional, and sort of learning their situation. Sometimes it's as simple as learning to sort of deal with, adversity by not understanding the language and trying to navigate the transportation system. So there's just a lot of different ways that it can really challenge you and help you to know who you are and how you communicate that to other people.
Question that then also comes up is what do I need to do to make that happen? And it does courses. So if you want to study abroad, now you're taking one semester off on campus off the table. And the long story short of summer advising is, if you want to go to nursing, PA, PT, and any of the other programs that we mentioned, it helps tremendously to be in Bio 111 in your first semester on campus. It's also a great class and you will enjoy taking it. It generally has about 24, 25 people in it. Professors know your name within the first couple of weeks. You meet your future friends and co-students because you're going to be taking classes with these folks for years and years to come. If you're up for it, take Chemistry 107. And at that point, you're really ready to study abroad. So that makes time a little bit less complicated later on. But again, be vocal about what it is that you're doing. During summer advising, take advantage of it. Talk to the person who is assigned to you. That might be me. I do it every year and say, I want to study abroad. I want to go to dental school. What do I need to do? And if they don't know the answer, then find one of the health professions advisors on the website and we will tell you. We benefit too if you are in the right classes. Don't forget, that's important to us almost as much as it is to you. So Bio 111, write that down. Chem 107, if you feel like I can do 2 science classes and handle a transition to college, that's really good. So again, can I study chemistry or can I study abroad? Yep, and it helps if you're in bio. Clarification questions, are those introductory classes? Yeah, generally speaking, if it's a 100 level class, it comes in the beginning of your academic career. And then if it's a 300 level class, a 400 level class, it comes at the end. Should I substitute AP classes? So let's say I took AP Bio and AP Chem, and can I skip Bio and Chem at Gettysburg?
Generally, we advise you not to do that. We advise you to take your sciences at Gettysburg and while you're enrolled fully, so to avoid summer classes or AP classes, simply because some medical schools don't, some professional schools don't accept AP credits. It can vary. So again, these are conversations that we have. So making sure that we're advising you specifically for your particular instance, but generally we want you to take your sciences and your prerequisites for professional school at Gettysburg.
And it's a decision that the department also makes individually. So the bio department will ask you to take Bio 111 and 112 so that you're prepared to take cell biology and genetics as a sophomore. And that's really important to be consistent with that. Okay, so we're almost finished. You have amazing questions. We're flattered. What else can I do? As a couple of questions have come up about internships and externships. I've held off with those because they're going to be answered now. Yes, it's important to gain extracurricular experiences. And Katie's about to tell you about 2 options. 1, you can work with the Center for Career Engagement. And 2, you can do really important, you can gain really important experience with the Center for Public Service.
Yeah. So definitely, you know, in terms of finding out if you want to be a particular be in a particular profession, you want to make sure that you're challenging yourself and exposing yourself to those experiences so that you can make sure this is really what you want to do. So experiential opportunities are really critical. Through our office, we offer shadowing in January, and then we offer externships, which are week-long opportunities where sometimes you actually get to live with the professional, so you get a chance to see work-life balance. We have over 100 people that go out every summer to do those externships, and a large number of them are medically related. So those are really great opportunities. One other experience that we have that we offer over spring break is we work with the University of Maryland Medical Center, and they actually clear out their volunteers for the shock trauma for us. And so we send a number of students there and we house you for that week, and you get a chance to really see a shock trauma up close and personal. So that's been a really amazing experience for a good number of students. And then internships, we help you to find internships that are related to what you want to do. So we have a number of alumni that we connect you with, and we help you to find things that are in your area. One thing to think about too is that through Center for Career Engagement, we also offer funding for those internships. We have a specific one for nonprofits. So a lot of the medically related experiences can be a nonprofit, so that can be a good option. But we offer up to $2,000 to help offset the cost of those because most of them are going to be unpaid in that arena. Depending on if you're doing research, that would be a different story. They have a higher likelihood of being paid. Center for Public Service, they are definitely connected locally. There's a lot of really great opportunities. I think I've worked with someone who actually went out and sort of interviewed with some of the migrant workers on health access to healthcare and things like that. So there's some really interesting local opportunities. And then they also have some both domestic and international immersion trips that can be really great. Not everything has to be medically related. Sometimes things that are going to be the most relevant to what you're doing might be outside the subject of medical. And so you can get an opportunity to really see some health disparities or experience a different community that you've never been in before, to really learn about what your practice is going to be like when you're out there working in the world.
Generally speaking, a lot of our students start the volunteering process early on, maybe not a full-fledged internship, but some shadowing, or maybe they do work a little bit with big brothers and big sisters. That happens pretty commonly in first-year students. One question that's also come up and that I have seen personally, we have a very active EMT student-led club on campus. And so there is a number of student EMTs that volunteer at the local firehouse. And it's been a really good experience for those students as far as I can tell. And we will be happy to connect you with those folks. It's really good professional experience.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do you need to know about admissions criteria? So now again, we're done with Gettysburg College. Now you're trying to move on. There's really two big things that we can be helpful with, right? We can be helpful with the numbers. And so where we as academics hope to have an influence is that we are good instructors, good teachers. The number one job of a professor at Gettysburg College is to be an excellent teacher, mentor, and advisor. That is at the top of my annual report. And we really take pride in saying the students come first, and it is without question. But then you also want to think about your medically related experiences and all the other things that you can see on here. Katie is a terrific editor. And so if you write your personal statement and you show it to Katie, it will take her 5 minutes and it will be a radically better personal statement. You will become a better communicator because you work with us. We will be able to direct you towards things that will result in better letters of recommendation. We will practice interviewing with you, and so on and so forth. So there's really a number of criteria, maybe some things that you knew, maybe some things you didn't know that we can help you with and point out to you. If you're not sure that your resume looks good, you can show it to folks in career engagement and they will help you edit it. So the last of it is that this is really all about you, and we have a very active health professions club, and Katie's going to say a couple things about that.
Yeah, the Health Professions Club has been really great. And one of the things that they do is they're very good about having a wide variety of professions. So they have alumni come back regularly and talk about their experience at Gettysburg and their experience in the profession and how they decided what they want to do, as well as a number of different graduate schools from different professions. And I think they have done an excellent job of really having a variety of people come and talk. They've taken field trips and they have social events, and they will sometimes incentivize attendance by t-shirt giveaways. So they're really a great opportunity to get to talk with alumni and various volunteers who are in the professions that you might want to work in. So those are great ways to sort of start some of that exploration as well.
And with that, if we have not answered your question, forgive me, I probably missed it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see the chat a little bit better. Please let us know in the chats if you have any further questions that you have. We welcome them. You can also find us on the Gettysburg College website. I'm Dr. Brandauer and Katie Matson. Just Google our name. You can find our email addresses really easily. Email either one of us, and we will be glad to direct you in or help you out. What are some other questions we have? Are there medically related service trips available? Katie?
We don't have like a specific medically service related. I mean, we definitely have trips, like I said, the University of Maryland or some of the immersion trips, but in terms of service trips, not directly in terms of students going into service. We can connect you sometimes with alumni who may have those types of opportunities, so that could be an option.
Any other questions? I am going to just share my screen again. and just type out my email address in case you want to. I should have done that a second ago. And so please, as something comes up or you talk about our session with some other folks, and you realize I wanted to ask a question and I forgot, it's not too late. This is just the beginning of us answering questions and also learning from you. That's I think something really important that we also need to know. What is it that you need that will help you make a more informed decision? So I am at jbrandow@gettysburg.edu, and Katie is at KE Matzo, no N, at Gettysburg.edu. So I'm going to share my screen again, and you can jot that down if you choose to do that. If you have any further questions, stick around and ask them. And if not, best of luck with your decision. There's a couple of other sessions that are going to happen that are probably of interest to you. I know biochemistry, molecular biology is doing some things. Health sciences, we have our own session. But branch out and look at some of the other topics too that interest you. So I'm Dr. Brandauer, and that's Katie Matson. One other question that came up was if there are volunteer community service opportunities or clubs available. Absolutely. Starts with big brothers, big sisters, and then goes on from there. Katie, what other things can you think of?
We have a number of people who do tutoring in the migrant community as well. One of the things that I didn't mention earlier is that we have a good long-standing relationship with Gettysburg Hospital. And so you can start that, a lot of students will start that early on in their first year and do a number of hours spread over the years that they're there. So that can be a good opportunity. But there are other opportunities. We have a relationship with Healthy Adams County.
Yeah.
So we have people who are interested in public health, and there's a wide variety of subjects that you can study in that. And that can be a very interesting addition to, working in a health profession, knowing some of those other influences on health.
My first place where I send students that are looking for community service is to the office on campus, one of the offices on campus that is devoted to making the community a better community and help students improve themselves in the process, and that's the Center for Public Service. It sits smack dab in the middle of campus, and that's for a reason. And so you might be interested in growing sustainable and healthy food. And guess what? You can volunteer on our on-campus organic vegetable farm and provide nutritious diets to people who otherwise have no access to that. And it just goes on and on and on. So we wake up in the morning and we think about how can we make this a better educational experience. And you walk around campus and you see a lot of those things for sure. Somebody asked how we can actually get those hospital hours at Gettysburg Hospital. Katie, what's your advice on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can, if you, I work specifically with you to kind of connect you with the volunteer coordinator there. So I'm happy to do that. And then it's basically up to you. The main thing is you have to complete 100 hours before you graduate. So you start at least before your junior year to get those hours in. But we have a number of students, and they've been. It's a small town hospital, but they definitely have had a lot of different experiences. We also had some people who've worked with patients who actually have gotten paid to sit with patients who may be at high risk, and so they've been able to do that, and they've added that in the last couple of years. So those experiences tend to expand, but it's a relatively easy volunteer application. The main piece is that you then have to go through your background check, but as a volunteer, they pay for all of that as well.
Any other questions?
The one other thing in terms of local opportunities, we do have a number of alumni who are also local who take a large number of our students. So somebody mentioned orthopedic surgery. We have a number of orthopedic folks. So there's some really interesting opportunities just even locally that we can connect you with pretty easily.
And for the person who missed the name of the center, that was the Center for Public Service. So look them up. They're terrific, and we work with them very closely, and we're really grateful for what they offer. Fantastic. Well, if there's no further questions, we wish you good health and wash your hands a lot. Don't touch your face, physical distancing and all that. And if you have questions as soon as we stop this chat that you wish you would have asked, you know how to track us down. Jay Brandow at gettysburg.edu or K.E. Matzo at gettysburg.edu. We're here to help you make an informed decision, and we hope to see you in the fall.
Yes. Thanks so
Katie,
much.
any closing words?
Just glad that you all came, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in the fall and working with you on the next 4 years.
All right, folks. All the best. Good luck and be in touch. See you in August.